makes me know when
You guys are fools.
Be nice.
That's my fam. Chill. Alright, let's do it. True. I remember the first time I started writing. It was on a Valentine's Day between kindergarten and 8th grade. We're writing love notes like, roses are red, violets are blue. I can be your peanut butter, but I'll always be jelly without you. Wasn't enough to make the girls hungry, but always kept me from being full of myself even when I graduated and moved to a new table called high school. In high school, I wrote less love letters to teenage girls who chose romance over relationships and never a mixture of the two, and focused on battle raps. Flipped it with my friends and called it rap battles, and it was all about who could write the sickest punchlines like, hold on, let me think about a couple. I see why the coldest winters fall back when the hottest summers spring into season. The reason why you're still cold is that you can shoot the J's but never produce enough diamonds. You know, I could be your male role model. A jewelry thief that takes peeks at your mental jewels, intricately invading your stash while I'm taking a peek at your manuscripts and laughing at your cash. Since I realize you're more cocky than confident. My confidence tells me not to be a chicken in the face of cockiness. No need for chicken D's to do screams or victory laps around me just to boost up my ego, since I can do it my own self. You see, I'm no hitman, but I bring the action like a verbal Mayweather. My words are ambidextrous to look both ways. I throw these lyrical haymakers. I give these cats a 2-for-1 special since they think they are on sale. Matter of fact, I just push them closer to the exit like they on clearance. My old head done gave me coupons on how to save myself from the new school, which is probably why I don't obey these new rules in this ghetto university. Going to university taught me about poetry. How it's less about how well you can or can't use the words like or as in a stanza, and more about how well your metaphors and similes can touch someone in the audience. You know, I've always appeared these mantras or these anthems about how the applause is always automatically appreciated, but there's nothing like having conversations after shows about how you've spoken someone's life into existence on this stage, how you've given hope to a hopeless soul, or how you've given strength to the weak who've been wandering aimlessly throughout these days. But there are days and nights where Noahs feel like their sermons don't have any love in them. There are times where Michelangelos feel like they can't build any more 16 chapels. There are moments where Davids feel like the pebbles in the palms of their hands aren't strong enough to strong arm or stiff arm the legs of Goliaths that walk in their path or exist in their mind. There are sessions where painters, writers, and poets feel like their paintbrushes, pens, and pencils only produce spilled paint, ink, and lead on blank canvases and blank notebooks. I know how it feels to think that you can't express yourself anymore. Feelings that make you believe that you've escorted yourself to a cell block in this prison that they say is both providers and creators, and feel like you'll only be serving lifetimes after lifetimes after lifetimes with no way out. But nowadays, I feel like I found the key to get out of this penitentiary, like it's the friend zone. See, it's less about making touchdowns in someone else's eyes and making sure your plays are right. Cross your T's, dot your I's, add a little bit more me, so that whenever you and I speak, I know your time is never over. Achieve your goals, even if they're in and out of your fields. Stop looking at the scoreboard, since the only point you should care about is getting your own across. To my painters and fellow creators, paint pictures and masterpieces, that picture the many pieces of your soul that you master. Let it all stick together like plaster. Plastering imagination with animation to create living creations. Don't worry if people try to identify or distinguish with your art like it's hieroglyphics, as long as their palette contains as much variety as the many colors on your palette. May your emotions and feelings be more diverse than the many tints and shades of pastels. Don't look at your past creations as past L's that stop you from winning. You see, you've got to be creatively thinking. You've got to be creatively thinking past the point of where you've gotten back into the groove of things. To my writers and poets, write. Write as if it's your only right to write, and it's only right that you write. And if people have left you because they think that you've done wrong, know that going left is just going right, but in the opposite direction. Never let the discretion of a viewer or hearer in this audience silence your voice. Never let the discretion of a viewer or hearer in this audience silence your voice. If silence is golden, then your voice is composed of rainbows and precious metals. Speak. Speak reds, blues, yellows, golds, silvers, crystals, rubies, sapphires, emeralds, fire reds, leaf greens, diamonds, pearls, platinums, colors that are only described by X and Y coordinates and precious metals, that know they're more valuable than your heart and soul, and that they exist beyond time, but they reside beyond the guidelines of alphas and omegas. Alphas and omegas, wow. Don't aim for these badges and accolades since you operate by your own rules. Can't let these trainers who have the same goal as you stop you from achieving your own, since even your rivals like Gary needing ash in their lives. Individuals with the strongest and highest level and better statuses can still meet the conditions of being paralyzed, poisoned, burned, and confused if you are slept on. If you are slept on, may your words be pokey fruits that wakes up the minds of Snorlaxes. Can't let company cake and slip and make sure that they slip onto the scopes to refuse the most transparent of types. Go ghost for a while. In a world full of dark tunnels, know when it's time to start and stop fighting. Fly away with your dreams and ideas as if you have wings lighter than ice and steel. Can't let these people catch up to your tail and put out your fire, my young Charmanders. You've got to be fluid like water. You've got to be fluid like water, but still be shocking and electric enough to leave thunderstorms and lightning bolts in their minds. Stay grounded in what you believe in, but make sure your foundation and not your art is solid as a rock when you roll through these grasses and forests. It doesn't take a psychic to know that you avoid places where people only exist to poison and bug you. Because if you haven't realized it yet, you're more majestic than dragons and fairies. You know, I've always thought of the writers and creators block as those places that only exist after you defeated the many leagues in the Indigo Plateau. You know, I've always thought of this writers and creators block as those places that only exist after you defeated the many leagues in the Indigo Plateau, where all your unknowns become knowns. You meet more legendaries and often, and your Pokédexes and journals seem to be a little bit more full these days. To the fellow artists, if there's ever a time when you felt like your craft is hit an all-time low, always remember that you have the power to create as if your ideas and thoughts had no expiration date, and that your handiwork is the bridge between people and expression. Thank you.